What an interesting affair in downtown Phoenix tonight. The Suns have now won their 49th game, their most that they've won since the 2009-2010 season. Matthew, they've surpassed the 48-win team from the 2014 season, and they did so in dramatic fashion, beating the Portland Trailblazers by 1 point in a crazy, crazy game, man.
Absolutely crazy. No Ayton, but it doesn't matter. No excuse for the Suns tonight, dude. What a win. Booker, is this the 10th time he's won a game by hitting a free throw? Is that the way to do it, to get the foul call?
I'm telling you, man.
What a way to win it, man.
He was not hot tonight, and I did not think that running a play for him at the end was the right call. He got bailed out by the refs, and he hit the free throws, something Dario could not, and they ultimately win this game. So impressive win, much needed win. You know, it's I think that it's poignant that we win this game, because if we had lost, it would have been 3 in a row for the first time since games 14, 15, and 16, which dropped us to 8-8 on the season. We avoided that. Suns win. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Suns Jam Session podcast. I'm John. He's Matthew. You're Jamsters for joining us. Let's get it. I'm just kind of in shock mode a little bit right now. I'm just I was expecting to lose this one.
I was too. You know what? It's so weird because mostly this season, this kind of game, I've been like, you know what? We're just going to win it. That's how you feel. But now it's just kind of like, I don't know what to think, because I just want the playoffs to start. And I think the Suns do too. And they're just trying to get through these games. That's basically, I think that's what's happening. To get through it with the win, though, was perfect. And you were talking about Booker taking the final shot. It's going to happen in the playoffs every game that it's going to happen. And his biggest fan is Chris Paul. So whether or not Chris Paul's hot, it's going to be Booker. It's his team. He's going to take the shot.
Well, he earned the call. He hit the free throws. Suns win. So can't complain there. Much needed win, as we mentioned, and plenty to talk about on this edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. So if you are joining us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, thank you. If you are on our YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and you can become an elite Jamster simply by clicking the join button or following the link in the description below. Feel free to donate to the show via the super chat to help pay for my medical bills, because I nearly had a heart attack watching this game tonight, Matthew. Jesus Christ. Subscribe, rate, and review if you're listening on the Bright Side of the Sun podcast network. If you're watching this game, not live with us, but afterwards on YouTube, we thank you as well. You are a true Jamster. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and we'll read it right here on the pod. You can email the show with any questions, sunsjamsession@gmail.com. You can follow the show at Suns Jam on Instagram, Twitter, and the Phoenix Fans app. You can follow me on all those locations at the same, at Darth Voida. You can follow Matthew
at Matthew Listen.
All right. Well, let's pop them open, man. Let's pop them open. Well deserved. She's got a shot there. And I've got this Austin cocktails. I'm going with this ruby red vodka. I haven't tried this one out.
All right.
Jamsters,
I gotta go over there and try some of those.
I'm telling you, I got a shit ton of these.
I gotta try them.
We're trying some new stuff tonight, so pop them if you got them.
Pop those Invisaligns out if you have them.
Take your shot, Matthew.
Whoop.
Cheers.
Get crazy. All right, we got a situation.
I'm the sweetest bitch you'll ever meet. After I have.
Little different start there to the show with our DTF Dario Frank intro.
I was not prepared for that at all. What a way to start the show. Hopefully we don't get pulled and we make some money off this pod, but that was...
Yeah, we'll probably get copyright infringed for that one, but
it was well worth it to see it at least once, right?
Well, I figured we should start with that, because the news of the night was the fact that DeAndre Ayton had a sore knee and would not be playing this evening. And of course, that means there's no Ayton watch. And we'll definitely spend some time talking about Dario. But when you first heard that news, knowing that you were playing against Nurkic and Enes Kanter, who is an offensive rebounding machine, and a guy we've had trouble with in our 2 previous victories over the Portland Trailblazers. Note, we've beat the Trailblazers 3 out of 3 times this year. So just keep that in your back of your mind in case any playoff situations. We got a situation here playing the Portland Trailblazers.
Situation.
But what were you thinking when you heard that DeAndre Ayton would not be joining the Suns tonight?
couple things, my imagination starts to go, and I think, they're trying to get Dario Saric back into the way he was playing before. So either Monty was like, hey, Ayton, you're not trying out there. You look tired. You're not going to give it your all. So we're going to just have Saric go in there and play as many minutes as he can to see what he can do. And the other thing I was thinking of, I'm like, I just want the playoffs to start, dude. Honestly, I think that this is what the team is waiting for, is the playoffs. We went hard at them last time, especially Ayton. We went at them, and it was well-deserved. But I think this team is just ready for the playoffs. So I think just to get through this game, even if they would have lost, it's not a big deal. I think just getting into the playoffs, getting these games over with, because they're so focused and ready. I think this team is as ready as they can be. There's nothing I think they can do in the next 2 games or even this game that would make or break them in the playoffs. So just to get through this, I was just like, it's fine. Get him some rest. It's okay. I'm not worried about the Blazers matchup. I don't think Nurkic is as hard to handle. I think Dario did a pretty decent job certain times during the game against him. So he's not a starting 5, but with Ayton being out, absolutely, I was just excited to see when he heard Saric was going to start, to see what he could do, and it was pretty funny. It's always fun with Saric.
I was intrigued. I was like, okay, we are definitely going to be undersized in this matchup, and you're going against a very hot Portland team. They're a team that's won 9 out of their last 10, and if you look at the advanced stats over the last 15 games, Portland is over that 15-game stretch, first in offense in the league and 15 in defense, and has a net rating that's first overall in the league. Conversely, you have the Phoenix Suns, who are 5th on offense, 29th on defense, and net 20. So we know over the last 15 games, the Suns have had challenges, especially defensively. We just haven't been necessarily as engaged. But then as the game began, I saw that intensity pick up. And again, that's why, losing this game, it wouldn't have been devastating, obviously. It wouldn't have been the end of the world. It would have been troublesome, and it would have brought some questions to light. But I saw what I wanted to see in this game. I saw the Phoenix Suns have the ability to lock down, play defense, and they did the same thing in the last game as well. They just let it go in the last 5 minutes, and they almost did it again tonight. But knowing that Ayton wasn't going to be in there, I was kind of like, okay, you know what? Maybe he needs a rest game. Maybe we're going to get a couple of these, under the moniker that, it's a knee issue. And that's what Monty Williams said before the game. He's like, listen, in a presser, he's like, listen, once I know, I'm not telling you guys. Will that go viral? Like, he almost had a joke with it because, he's probably just resting his guy, man. And real quick, shout out to Everything Horror in the super chat. He says, I got playoff tickets. Let's go. And he donated $5 to the pod. So thank you, Everything Horror.
Have fun, man, because I'll be here. Oh, no, we'll be at the bar. Never mind. We're going to be at the bar hanging out with the Jamsters there.
Yes, sir.
Free to come. Just got to buy yourself a beer. That's it.
Yes. And buy Matthew a vodka shot.
A vodka shot, just 6 of them. That's all I need.
6 of them. That's all I need.
Yeah. But so with Ayton being out, the sore knee or whatever, it's fine. If you think of any of these players that might need the rest, you're like, oh, maybe Chris Paul. Nah, he's not going to take a night off. I don't think he would ever want to. Booker doesn't. Mikal Bridges looked rejuvenated tonight. He does not need a rest. Ayton was the one guy where like, all right, maybe he needs a rest. Maybe he doesn't even play the next 2 games, which I'm fine with that because, we've said it so many times. Ayton will only play up to the competition. So having him in those games, the risk injury, I'm all for it to have him sit out with a sore knee.
Yeah, and this is his first game he missed this season. So kudos to the big fella for playing as much as he has. And that just leaves one man. There's one guy who's played in every game this season.
Who is that? Ooh, is it Chris Paul?
Mikal.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Mikal has played in every game. And let's transition to him, man. I mean, what a fucking performance by Mikal Bridges. And, one of the things that I observed and I wrote down in my notes is the fact that when he didn't have DeAndre Ayton in there, he embraced almost the role of being the third scorer, the third option on offense. You know that Chris Paul / Devin Booker goes Devin Booker, Chris Paul. And then if you look at points per game, it's DeAndre Ayton. And Mikal Bridges is number 4 on the team in overall scoring. And I think that knowing that DA wasn't going to be the in the game and the center position wasn't going to be the position that was going to hoard some of the points, he had the ability to just go, you know what? There's a few more shots out there for me. I'm the one who gets to make up those shots. And granted, there was a joke before the game. It was like, it's like DeAndre Ayton's out, and somebody's like, oh man, who's going to make up for his 5 shots in the game? Because he just doesn't take very many.
It's true.
It is. Yeah. It is. It's actually quite comical. I mean, Dario Saric ended with 12 attempts. Like, I wish DeAndre Ayton would take 12 attempts a game. But Mikal Bridges took 9 shots, made 6 of them, ended with 21 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 6 for 6 from the free throw line. Mikal Bridges had a monster game tonight, my friend.
He did, and wide open spaces. Wide open spaces.
Room to make your big mistake.
For him, right? It's not like, hey, stick in your corner, do a pump fake once in a while. That's not Mikal's game tonight. It was basically Ayton, the big body in the middle, was out of there. Not to say that he's a distraction in the way. I feel like Mikal, we haven't really talked about how he's been finding Ayton a lot lately in the paint, just really setting him up for good passes. And that wasn't there, of course, with Ayton being out, but he looked like he was just free to roam wherever he wanted to go. Wherever I may roam. I don't know what's going on.
From Dixie Chicks to Metallica.
Dude,
only right here on the Suns Jam
it's
Session
everywhere.
podcast.
That shot is hitting me big time right now.
Yeah.
So, if the cheeks get any redder, sound the alarm. I don't know what's going to happen. But I just honestly think he had more room to do what he wanted on the court. And it just shows you how good he is and how you can rely on him as that third scorer, because he's so efficient, right? He gets that from Booker. His vision on the half court too it's up a level, and he gets to actually kind of find out tonight what he could do with the ball. Not very many assists, but he was able to run in and out of the paint, get to his spots wherever he wanted, shoot the three, go inside, do a lot. And a lot of it, I think, was just because Ayton was out there and he just maybe wanted to try some stuff. So it was very fun to watch.
I feel like he just accepted the fact that he was going to be the third scorer tonight, and he accomplished that goal. You had Chris Paul had 26 points and Mikal had 21. Booker finished with 18, and 2 of those were at the end. But I really like to see Mikal play this way, and it shows you what the future of this player is. If he continues to grow and continues to gain that confidence and continues to get shot opportunities, couple that with his defense, that's why Flex from Jersey, our buddy at the Coast to Coast pod, calls him a young Scottie Pippen, because he plays with that length and he plays with that ability to hit the mid-range shot. Every time he dunks, it's just like, it's so much fun to watch. Like on that fast break where Cameron Payne hit him, it was just great because, it's effort. It's smooth aggression, man. It's so smooth. It's just whoop, boom. And it's just, he's fun to watch. It's great to see him continue to grow. And he had a tough matchup tonight. He spent a lot of time on Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard went absolutely crazy tonight, ended with a total of 41 points, 24 of those in the fourth quarter. It was Dame time. They scored 40 points in the fourth. That's the disappointing thing about tonight, is it's back-to-back games in which the Suns gave up way too many points in the fourth quarter of playoff level type competition. But again, Dame Lillard scored 24 of those 40 points, man. He is just ridiculous, dude.
He is. And it's scary, if it's somehow rematched in the playoffs, it is definitely scary to go up against that. They even had a chance at the end to get down there and get the score. Do we have someone coming in?
Yeah, man. I you know what? We're gonna go live. Hold on, real quick. Let's do. I have a drop for this.
Okay.
Jamsters react.
Joining us live from PHX Suns Arena. It's the Fanning the Flames guys. I see Paul there. What's going on? How was the game?
Hey, fellas. Where'd he go?
Justin just ran out. He's chasing somebody down, it looks like.
No drinking and driving, all right?
He's gonna fight some Blazers.
What's up?
What's up?
Really loudly. It's super weird.
No, that's perfect.
In a car. Why are we
being
sitting in a car? Why don't we get out of the car?
Oh, God. Can we just do this the rest of the podcast?
Yes, this is fantastic. How you guys doing? How was the game?
Oh, what's up, boys? It was fantastic. Holy shit, what a game. First of all, hey, can I just say, for the record, Tyler Ford is horrific at his job. He is, oh my God. I've tried to change my ways, but come on, man. But I might have dropped some panties around children tonight because of Tyler Ford. That's not my fault, that's his fault.
Okay, I forgot how much they love the referees, so I didn't know the name.
So question, you guys were there earlier in the season when the Suns blew out the Blazers by 32 points. Obviously, there was less fans in the arena at the time. How did it feel being at the arena tonight when there's a lot more fans, a lot more intensity, and a lot more of a playoff atmosphere? What was it like?
It was great.
It was awesome. The crowd was rocking. It was the biggest crowd they've had this season.
Yeah, 10,000.
Yeah, that's what we were. So before the game, we hung out with Bloomer for a little bit, and he was telling us, yeah, this is the biggest crowd they've had this year, and the crowd was awesome. It was loud at the end of the game. I'm sure you guys heard Book getting serenaded with MVP chants.
Yes,
it was phenomenal, man. And compared to the game earlier this year, yeah, they blew the Blazers out earlier this year, but look, man, we just played a playoff team that's clicking on all cylinders right now without 2 of our top 7 guys, 2 of our top 8 guys. Book didn't play well, and we still pulled out the win. I think that's a testament to this team and the depth. I mean, look what Payne did, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I was really hoping Payne was going to get a last shot, but I mean, Book took care of business.
People are looking
Put him
at
in
us
the
right
game,
now.
though.
Like,
They
why
gave him a
are
chance.
these people talking to their phone right now?
tell them it's business. Hey,
Yeah, you
but
tell them to subscribe to the pod.
also important question: what's it like to have a life and get to go to a game? What is
Dude,
that like?
You know,
It's nice being vaccinated.
Paul, I was telling Paul
Oh.
before the game. I think this was the longest we've gone without seeing each other in
person.
like 20 years.
Oh,
I
that is so
actually
cute.
recorded our reunion. It's adorable. Maybe I'll show it to you guys later.
You should.
We'll need to see that. Did anybody take a picture of Paul? Because I know that you were going to give out a complimentary
No.
beer. Nobody.
Nobody
You
did.
tweeted
What did you
it
have?
out.
The mask
That's-
is on though. It's tough, man. You can't see that beard.
Come on, I mean, look at this face, though. You can tell this face from a mile away.
I will say,
You have to hear this voice?
shout out to KP. She came by and
Yeah,
said
she
hello
grew.
to us. She came by and sat with us for a little bit. It was great to see her.
Cool. Is that another referee? Who's that?
No. KP Smith, dude. She's out on Twitter. Come on, you guys know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Matthew's not on Twitter.
I'm not
as-
on as much. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So,
I
so
was telling somebody at work
disrespectful.
today, after our conversation we had on Twitter last night, Justin, I'm like, you know what's crazy is through this pandemic, like I haven't seen many of my friends. My best friends are all on Twitter now. I have a bunch of Twitter people who like, we don't even talk. We just put little capital letters and we know we finish each other's sandwiches.
Yeah,
So.
I need to stop like being overly literal and screwing around with you, I guess, on Twitter, because that was clearly lost in translation last night.
No, who cares? Fuck them. That's what makes it fun. You
Boy,
know,
I'm
so.
just gonna have to walk over to your house to watch the next game.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, you're right here. You're like a block away.
Hold on.
I'm
Make a hole.
vaccinated. We're cool. We can do this. Let's see here.
I'm the last one that hasn't gotten vaxxed yet.
Love these
so.
guys so much more positive than the solar guys. Oh, okay.
Dude, God,
Oh.
the solar panel guys are great. We love Espo.
No, I love them too.
No, they're
Well, and
very
we'll
nice
be doing.
gentlemen.
We're going to be
Salt,
doing
but yeah, I love them
podcasts. We're going to be doing podcasts with them at the Chupacabra Tap Room in Mesa for the playoffs. So you guys got to come.
I
Yeah.
was about to say, I mean, like, I was insulted when I saw you guys.
Yeah.
Didn't even give us.
You know, you guys are invited. In plus,
No,
like if you're
we
there,
invite out-
We're doing a public invite right now. Don't
I'm
be salty.
absolutely gonna have no time to talk. If you guys are there, I'll just be sitting there sipping on something.
we just smacking you upside the head.
That's very true, though. I give Paul the phone. He's like, look, let me put myself in the center of the screen.
Yeah.
All right, real
Well, you
quick
guys look
before
good.
we let you guys.
How do you guys feel about the game? I don't want to do all the talking. This is your podcast. I want to know what you guys thought.
Oh, we already
if
said our
I may be
thoughts.
so bold. Maybe. Okay, I was going to say we're a little late. Or yeah, but okay. Let me ask you one question. Dario. That's just my question. Dario.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I got a little something for you when it comes to Dario.
The Saric smoke break.
What a game by Dario. I mean, the ups, the downs, the falling over all the time, the missing clutch free throws, the shoving his ass into Nurkic's thigh and into Cantor's stomach, and not even going for the rebounds, but just boxing out and creating, we out-rebounded the Blazers tonight. We, total boards on the game, 42-33. And you think with Ayton out, with their size, we would be killed on the boards. Dario Saric did the dirty work. So I was pleased with his performance. He hit some threes, and he looked really shitty at times. It's just simple
That's
Dario,
Dario.
right, Matthew?
Yeah, he fulfilled every 30 minute he was out there. All
Every
30 minutes he
every
was
30
out
minutes?
there. That's all Dario, dude. It was all fun to watch. No matter if he's gonna hit clutch shots, I don't want him to, but I want him to miss some, and then Booker make up for it later on, just to laugh at him because
Well,
I
I mean,
love
dude
laughing
was-
with Dario.
Exhausted. Dude,
Yes.
exhausted. It's the most minutes he's played all season by like
Yes.
6. Like the
Yeah.
and he hasn't played more than like 15 all month. So
I forgot he existed for a couple of days. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
not
that's
wrong.
very nice.
But he didn't.
Yeah.
Somebody said in the chat earlier, he's not Dario, he's Wario. You know, he's just, you don't know what to get from this guy. But you know what? We won a game in which he started at center. So the Suns are 1-0 with Dario center. Start him all the time.
I thought Frank would have gotten the start because there was a nice little streak. They were 10-0 at some point with Frank starting.
Yeah, 11-2 total. Yeah,
there you go. But look, like Paul said, Dario played so many minutes. I brought him up just because, hey, at the end of the day, I feel like let's look for something to be a little bit. I won't say negative, but I'll say not wholly positive about, and that would be maybe the one thing. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter because they won the game, and like Paul said, he played most minutes he played all year, so you expect some heavy legs there at the end.
Yeah,
looks like you got some fans behind you.
What's going on?
Look at that!
Be on the pod.
Hey, you're on right now. There you go.
Come join the pod, man.
You guys all got.
Man, I love you guys, man. I always listen to every fucking day.
Yes.
Very
hell
cool.
yeah. Cuss all you want.
Who is it?
That hat is badass.
I love it.
Here we go.
You take
Live
Who
on
was that?
location.
Do
Get his
this.
name.
Take care of yourself, brother.
Get his Twitter handle.
Yeah, get his Twitter handle.
We'll send him a t-shirt.
We'll send him some merch. We'll send him some merch or something. What? Let's see.
I need a date for the first playoff game at
You on
Chupacabra
Twitter?
Tap Room.
You on Twitter?
I got the +1.
Oh, I'm dying here. This is so
Very
good for the
cool.
people who are listening to this tomorrow. I'm sorry. You're
Yeah,
missing.
no.
They're just like,
Go
what
to the
do you
YouTube
have?
page. It's really
You
funny.
have to watch this. You have to live it.
Yeah, I won't edit shit.
At Joe Beasy.
At Joe Beasy, fantastic.
Joe Beasy, follow him.
God, I love that hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good hat. See?
Out of the way,
Yeah,
brother.
that's a.
Oh,
that's a-
you got one too.
that is
Those are
fantastic.
I
Those are
love we
really
have like
nice.
almost a starting lineup of
Yeah, I know.
jerseys too, which is fantastic.
Yeah. So what jerseys are you guys wearing? So we got Chris Paul. What are you wearing, Justin? Ayton. My
Oh
man.
wow.
I like
Don't
to
be
think
hating on
The
Ayton.
ball's
Paul
on
is
you,
not wearing
huh?
a Chris Paul jersey.
No, I'm
It's
wearing
his
a
personalized
jersey with my Payne number and the name.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That is awesome.
Well, listen, guys, we're gonna let you guys go. We're gonna continue the pod. Love that
Yeah.
you guys tuned in, man. Really appreciate it. We'll see you at the Chupacabra Tap Room in the playoffs.
I love you, fellas.
We
See
love
ya.
you too.
Take care,
Good
boys.
night.
Later, bros.
Drive safe.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Live and on location with Jamsters in the back who listen to the pod. That just made my night, man. That is fantastic.
That was
So,
really cool. What are the odds, huh?
I don't know.
Is that
Well,
why we have fewer watchers because they're at the game, right? Because usually
Probably.
a game like this, we have like 200 people at least watching. Now it's like 135, which is awesome.
Yeah,
but it's like
people will-
most of them are at the game now, I feel like.
Well, exactly. And what'll happen is like later tonight, people will start watching it. But like as Bees says in the chat, he says, raw and unedited, that's the Jamster way. Amen, baby. That's what this is about. I reached out to Justin today. He said he was going to the game. I'm like, hey man, if you want to jump on the pod, I'll send you the link. Because
Yeah.
I would love to talk to you
Are you-
after the game.
I was on there. Are you talking to
Yeah.
me? Or? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, you were on there. You just never responded.
I never
So-
respond to anything.
But going back to Dario, let's continue the Dario smoke break. I covered a lot with Justin and the fan and Paul, the fan and the Flames guys. But that's what I had. I mean, what's interesting about Sarge that I noticed early on is the fact that both Chris Paul and Devin Booker were willing to try to get him into the game. It's almost as they feel like they trust his hands more. Because they were doing a lot of those pocket passes off of high screen and rolls, where it's like they kind of set the screen, do a quick bounce pass to Dario, and from there he fucks it up. But they trusted him with those passes, right?
No, they did, and it looks like they were playing together, starting to have him in the starting lineup basically the whole year. They were so comfortable. I think Chris Paul, honestly, he loves Dario Saric. I think he loves the connection they have just because of the way he presents himself out there, how open he can get off those screen and rolls. But the finish, who knows? If he can draw a foul like he did tonight, which was kind of nice to see, he got some calls, which he never does. Maybe because he was actually in the starting lineup and he put up some big minutes, but he was able to actually finish on some of those. And I think Booker and Chris Paul would wave him over here. Hey, come here, send me a pick. I know you're going to be open. I know you're going to get a good look. And he did. It's just whether or not he's going to finish or not, or pass it out and make the next great play. I just honestly think that Chris Paul loves Saric, and I think that they had the opportunity to maybe put Frank in there. And Paul's probably like, hey, put in Saric. I want to work with him tonight, 30 minutes. We'll get some good minutes out of him. And I think that's Saric's numbers. Like, that's just him tonight. that's what we're going to get in the playoffs. And I'm fine with it. He can F up and it's fine, because I feel like we have enough space for him to like kind of be clumsy in a way to where we can make up for it with other guys on the court. And I don't think he's always going to be so clumsy. I think he'll learn his lesson a little bit in the playoffs, but just him out there knowing what to do, his IQ, his connection that he has with the connector that he is, that's something that's going to be big. And I kind of want that back for him to be the connector. Other than that, though, I mean, just to start after such bad games strung in a row, even though SoSaysJ, he said he forgot about him. How can you forget about Saric? He still is absolutely a guy that I love to watch no matter what the hell he does on the court. I don't know why I love that guy.
Well, it's because we're rooting for him. You know, Saric is us. Saric is the big, clumsy white guy who just can't play well at basketball. And
Me?
You just hope it goes in, you know? And I really think, you know, starting Frank Kaminsky wasn't an option in my point of view, because those 11-2 games that you mentioned earlier in the season, the 13 games that the Suns started Frank Kaminsky, he was playing power forward. He's not a center. He doesn't know how to occupy that space. And although Dario's clumsy, and although Dario has a hard time inside, and he can't finish, and he can't jump over a nickel, he still knows how to technically, with his feet, navigate the space inside. He knows how to run high pick and rolls, and he knows how to roll, and he has decent enough hands to catch the ball. It's up to him to execute. And you're right, Chris Paul was calling him over on screens all day long because he knew he was going to have a wide open Dario, because there's no way you're just going to be like, okay, I'm just going to leave CP3 one-on-one with Cantor or Nurkic. They're like, we're going to hit both of them, you know? So,
but even then, it's like they just put their bodies into them, and it made a difference. Like, that's the thing with Ayton we always talk about, like, put a body into somebody. Like, they're littler bodies, of course, than Ayton, but you just put those bodies in those big dudes, they can't handle it most of the time. You know, they don't want to be like hit down low like that. Put a booty into them and they'll move over.
Exactly. Shove that ass into their thigh and good things will happen.
That's
and, you know, it is. I don't know that one by Metallica, though. You know, but, you know, he ended with a total of 12 points, 4 for 12 shooting, just typical Dario fashion. 1 for 4 from 3, 3 for 6 from free throws. You know, obviously the last thing we'll talk about before we move on is his free throws at the end. I mean, just huge misses by Dario, man. Just I was pissed.
It's a setup for the punchline, man. That's what it is. Those shots. It's basically like, you know, he's gonna miss at least one. I mean, his shots when he misses are the ugliest in the NBA. And especially when they're clutch shots that have to be made like that, I don't trust him for it, but it's fine because we have other guys on the team that will step up. So no worries, you big booty hoe. You, sorry.
Well, let's transition now to a couple of our point guards. You know, I'll start with CP3 and I'll end with Campaign. The CPs tonight were just unbelievably fantastic. 26 points for Chris Paul and 11 for 14 shooting, 2 for 2 from deep, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 7 assists, and our friend It's Khalil on the Bright Side of the Sun, he actually sent out or posted a piece today talking about how Chris Paul could end up being the first ever 20,000 10 assist guy in the history of the league, and he was only 60 points shy of that. Now he scored 26 points tonight, and he's getting near to that. What'd you see from Chris Paul, and how great is it to watch him navigate? Because, I mean, he is the definition of clutch, man. I mean, he truly is.
Oh, my God, dude. It's insane to watch. Like, the moment I actually looked down from the game, which is stupid of me because I was writing something during the game, and I shouldn't have been doing that because I would look down, I would hear, whoo, from the fans, and it was Chris Paul. Every time he had the ball, he was just making the fans go crazy. And he gets the MVP chance, of course, on the free throw line, but Booker had him tonight, which is going to always happen. But Chris Paul has the most. Remember we used to watch John Morant play? It's like, it was a lot of those. And that's what Chris Paul does. And he finishes them now. Sometimes when you watch the game, it's kind of like his handles, sometimes maybe it's too much. Maybe he'll turn the ball over. Sometimes it gets a little bit too fancy. But games like this, he takes extra special care of that ball so far for the Suns. In the playoffs, it might be a problem in this history. But right now, what he's doing with his team is he will be that filler for Devin Booker. It's like he's setting him up for big time. And like we said earlier, like I said, Booker is going to get the final shot. No matter what kind of game Chris Paul is having, Booker he'll always have the shot. And that's fine because Chris Paul is his biggest fan. He is setting him up for greatness. And I honestly think that this game just shows exactly what you're going to get from him in the playoffs. A day off in between games, maybe 2 days, who knows? As long as he's rested and ready to go, you're going to get this consistently. It's the back-to-back games you got to worry about, which is not going to happen. So tonight is just playoff Chris Paul, and we are very, very loyal to him and what he's doing to help the Suns team.
And we're just lucky to witness it. I think that's something we have to, again, just be appreciative of, is Chris Paul is a Hall of Famer, and we have a front row seat to a guy who should be past his prime.
Yeah.
You look at the history of point guards in the NBA, and once they hit 35, there's only 3 guys who have ever averaged over 18 points and 8.5 plus assists in the history of the league. And that's Steve Nash did it a few times, John Stockton and Jason Kidd did it a couple times. And CP3 is doing that this season. Now, I think he's lower on the point side. I think he's at 16 something. But, I mean, he's over 8.5 assists. And it's ridiculous what he does. It's ridiculous how he does it every night. It's ridiculous how he does it every possession. I am completely confident when he shoots. There's a difference. Devin Booker is somebody who is learning how to win in this league. So I won't fault him for some of the late game turnovers, because he's done that. He had 2 tonight and 1 in the last game. And that one with Carmelo was just dumb. And
that was like he trying to play basketball.
It was like some, and he had 2 under 3 minutes, and he had 1 big one. What iced the game against the Warriors the last game was him going down, dribbling, just losing the ball. And CP3, you don't see that. CP3 had 1 possession where he was kind of really just fumbling the ball all over the place. But what did he do? He got to the mid range and just sunk it. And it's just like, Devin Booker's going to have a lot of growing relative to being clutch, and he has a front row seat to CP3. And it's a gene. Like, certain guys have it, certain guys don't. And we're really going to learn a lot about Devin Booker in the playoffs this year. We're really going to, because like you said, Matthew, he's going to get the opportunity. Chris Paul is his biggest fan. Is going to be like, Booker, this is your team. You're the one who's suffered here. You're the one who's trying to resurrect this franchise. I'm going to set you up. You got to knock him down, boy. And he is, so far, I don't have confidence in his shot, whereas CP3, I'm confident in every. I mean, he went 11 for 14. How can you not be confident?
I know. And honestly, what Booker does with this team and how he feeds off his teammates is very, very impactful to the way the outcome of the games come in the playoffs, because he's going to have a lot of these games. Well, I mean, it's very minimal depending how far they go in the playoffs, but he'll have these games where he'll only score 18 points. But like the turnovers and stuff towards the end of the game, it will shore up, because in the back of his mind, when he is in those certain instances in the game where he has to take control of the ball and do something with it, he knows for sure it's a big stage. It's a big moment for him. So for him to get over that, it'll take some time. I really think so. It's for him to be more comfortable. Russell Wilson said it on the Bill Simmons pod once, like, where he just can see what's going to happen next on the field. He can pan it out after getting so comfortable in the playoffs and winning a Super Bowl. He can kind of see exactly what's going to happen. That's going to be Booker someday. It's just going to take some time. It's another step for him, man.
It is, and he's getting those opportunities now in his 6th season, and it's going to continue to grow, and we're going to have to grow along with him. That's going to be the key. Is we're going to be frustrated with Devin Booker, and we're going to have to go through those growing pains right with him. But hopefully, he comes out the other side, and we get a superstar who has the ability to close, like Dame Lillard and like Chris Paul. Just so you know, this is the 27th time that Chris Paul has played Damian Lillard. Chris Paul is 21-6 against Dame Lillard.
Beautiful.
That's just domination, dude.
He's a daddy.
Who's Dame Lillard's daddy? It's CP3. And now our other CP, CP15, campaign has just been absolutely unreal recently, hasn't he?
Yeah, honestly, remember the stretch? I think he went through like a bad stretch, like all the Suns players have. But since he's come back, he's been unstoppable, dude. I don't understand. He's been getting more interviews and stuff left and right, of course, about his play and just the way he came back into the league and all that. But he's just someone you can definitely count on, right? Like, you're not, when he comes in the game, take over CP3, you were so comfortable. I'm really actually talking about you. Like, you really are, right? Like, you can sit there and be like, you know what, this offense is going to run great. He'll have his one bad shot at the rim, which he does every game, and he gets back into it. I don't know what to get him going in the game. He has to have one bad take. One take that's either blocked or just he throws it up there knowing it's going to be blocked. And then after that, he unfolds. It gets him going. He's upset with himself. And I think he brings that into, he hones it into himself to where he knows he's going to actually come out the next play and make a difference. And that's what he does every time he comes off the bench. He makes a huge difference spanning the time that he's on the court. that Chris Paul's out, that he can fill it in, and that's what he does every game now.
What was kind of scary before the game, Kellen Olson reported that Cam Payne limped off during warm-ups because he twisted his ankle. And then he came back out and he worked on it a little bit. And then obviously, because Cam Payne going down is strangely, if you told me this a year ago, I would have been like, okay, like that kind of sucks. Like he had a good bubble run, but I mean, that would be devastating to this team. I mean, you look at his last stretch of games, and in the last 8 games, not including tonight, and, just for point of reference, how did Cam Payne do tonight? Well, just played 27 minutes, had 21 points, had 5 assists, 6 rebounds, a block, a steal. I mean, this guy was everywhere tonight, man. But you look at his last 8 games prior to this, and he has a 21.6 points per 36. Now granted, he's been playing 20 minutes a game, 12.1 points, 51% from deep, 52% from the field, 3.3 assists, 26 or 2.6 rebounds. But if you look at his 12.1 points in 20.1 minutes, that averages out to 21.6 points per game per 36. I mean, he is truly deadly. He's truly somebody who the defenses aren't really prepared for. And again, his ability, what I really like about Cam Payne is the way that he's herky and jerky, and has the ability to lull defenders almost to sleep before he takes off. He kind of does kind of a hop dribble, and then boom, he'll attack. And because he's so fast, he gets to his spots and does what he wants. And it's just, he's really become a secret weapon for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, he stretches so well towards the basket too. Wherever he's at in position of the key or in the paint, he can stretch towards the rim wherever he's at. So that's he's longer than what you would think, right? Getting to the rim. So that helps him a lot.
I mean, he puts guys. I mean, again, these were Nurkic and Enes Kanter are huge guys, and he was still getting angles on him, and it's continually impressive. And again, kudos to Cam Payne, and kudos to one of my favorite players for his efforts tonight. I got to give it up to the Juice.
What's up?
Dude, the Juice tonight, man, had 10 straight points at the back end of the third. Looked like he hurt his hamstring, came back in, continued to play. And, but what did you see from Torrey Craig, man? Because he got some big minutes tonight. Just another solid performance from this guy, man. I still can't believe we got him for cash consideration.
I know.
I can't get over that.
Man, he's taken his turn, and basically when he comes in, he has a heat check moment sometimes, like every other game, right? To where from 3-point land, like he will throw him up like he doesn't care. He has Jay Crowder like confidence from 3, and it's something we never expected really from him. But we'll take that. We'll get that. We'll take it from him because honestly, we need that sometimes, and he can step up. It's like Tim Thomas minutes, right? We compared him before to Tim Thomas. He has those moments where he'll put teams away, and that's what he did almost. In the third quarter, towards the end of the third quarter, he got that lead up to 10, which was nice. And it didn't put him away necessarily, but if our starters could come in and do their job, then maybe it would have happened. But of course, you're playing the Blazers, you're playing a team that's really focused on getting the playoffs. It's going to be difficult. But what he does when he comes in, it's just he almost had that rebound putback dunk. He almost jumped up in midair over one of the other players from the other team we just played.
The Warriors.
Yeah, the Warriors. And honestly, he almost, I know it wasn't the Warriors. He jumped up and he went on top of the guy, almost took it in midair and then dunked it, but he barely missed that. Like his athleticism is through the roof too. So he'll kill teams any night in different ways. And that's something that I love to see. And we need that for sure, right? Especially with Saric not playing as well, Cam Johnson being out. We need that extra guy to step up. Yeah,
and I don't know what's going to happen with Cam Johnson. They showed him before the game, and he was working on his left hand dribbling because he still has that, wrist. Oh, it looks like a cast almost on his right hand. And, I've been frustrated with Cam's performances as of late. Obviously, he's been out because he's been injured. But I've said it before, man, like we're going to need Cam. And something that's interesting I'm publishing tomorrow on Bright Side of the Sun. So again, Jamsters, you get a preview of this. I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast with Ryan Russillo earlier this week, and they talked about hoopsstats.com. Do you remember that segment that they were talking about?
Yep.
So what's really cool about that site is it has this metric called NBA efficiency, where what they do is they have this formula that essentially comes up with a final number relative to the efficiency of a player every night. Okay, and the formula is it's like total points plus rebounds plus assists plus blocks plus steals minus the total of your free throw attempts minus your free throw makes, and the same thing for field goal attempts. And you take all that and you come up with a final number. And but then what the site does, which is really cool, is it pits you against a matchup every night. So, Devin Booker versus Donovan Mitchell, when they play, that's the matchup. And whoever has the higher NBA efficiency number wins that matchup. And you look at some of the different players on the Phoenix Suns. Chris Paul this season, 35 and 19. Devin Booker, 35 and 16. Mikal Bridges, 33 and 20. So that 33 times he won the efficiency matchup against whoever he was playing. 20 times he lost it. Jay Crowder, 15 and 23. DeAndre Ayton, 22 and 20. Which is very average, which just fortifies the fact that we think that DeAndre Ayton is inconsistent. He's inconsistent. 22 times he's won his matchup, 20 times he's lost it, and 16 times there was a draw. Like, that's as vanilla and in the middle as you can get. But the reason I bring this up is Cam Johnson is 5 and 13. Now, granted, Cam Johnson isn't somebody who's played a ton of and the qualifiers, you have to play against your opponent for 25 minutes in a game. And that's why, like, Cam Johnson only has a total of 18 decisions, if you will. He's 5 and 13. Because, he's only played over 25 minutes 24 times, and his opponent has only played it over 18 times. But what's interesting is when he wins his matchup, when Cam Johnson wins his matchup, the Suns are 5 and 0. And when he loses his matchup, they're 7 and 6. And again, it fortifies my thinking of Cam Johnson's going to be vital in the playoffs, because if he does get more minutes, because that Monty's going to have to shrink the rotations down. And when he shrinks those rotations down, that ups the minutes for the guys. And if he ups the minutes to Cam Johnson, he needs to win his matchup, because if he does, the Suns win.
Do you think he comes back, though?
I don't know.
I don't think if he has a cast on and stuff, he'll come back maybe. But like if he's going to play like Cam Johnson, like you want him to win the matchups, I don't know if it'll be there. But if he's a distraction, maybe. But then I don't know if you can have that. If teams have seen him in a cast, it's kind of like, just leave him out at 3 like they have been, and he'll miss. So it's going to be tough, dude, to fill his shoes.
It will be, and that's where the Torrey Craigs of the world come in. And you're going to get more defense than offense, but it'd be nice to have a sniper have the ability to come in, and that's where I feel like we are going to miss Cam Johnson come playoff time. Real quick, I want to just talk about CJ McCollum. I mean, he had a monster game. This guy ends with 27 points, 11 for 19 from the field, 5 for 9 from 3. Felt like every 3 was going in. Had 6 assists. Had 20 or 22 in the first half and ended with 27. Like, so, I mean, the Suns really did a good job of taking him out of his game in the second half. But, I'll say this about the Blazers, man. I love that backcourt. I always have. I love CJ McCollum. I'm scared shitless of Dame Lillard, and I love him too. It's nice to beat them. But that's a team that, I understand why when we had that little debate on our podcast last time, when you were saying, the Blazers is scary as shit in the playoffs, like I can see why, obviously.
Yeah, you can. And they won 5 in a row, too, before this game, right? So and 9 of the last 10. That's why this season's like kind of BS a little bit, just because these teams are now poking their head out. They're like, oh, like Anthony Davis in that meme, like, oh, here we come, because that's the way the Blazers are. I know they just played last night, so maybe that's an excuse, but they definitely are deadly. Defense, I'll throw that out the window. They still have a chance to win this, and they can't play defense. It doesn't matter in the playoffs, I don't think. I know it matters for some people. They think like defense wins championships. It does, but when you have guys like that in your backcourt, I don't think it matters too much.
What do you think of Grant Hill and Kevin Harlan calling the game on TNT?
It was okay.
It beats anything ESPN has to offer.
It's not. Grant Hill's not bad. I love TNT. No. On Thursday night, TNT is the best, but Grant Hill's good. It's just, I don't know, man. It's fine. It doesn't beat EJ, right? EJ's like a 10, and then you have these other guys that are like trying to. They have a ways to go. So he's doing better.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, better than anything ESPN has to offer.
Yeah.
So I'll stick with that one. Is there anything that we missed from you? Any notes that you wanted to bring up?
Oh, I'm good, dude.
All right. Well, then I'm going to drop something. Is that okay? I'm not going to interrupt you.
SB Nation says.
All right. So the SB Nation site for the Portland Trail Blazers is Blazers Edge. And they're notorious for being one of the most engaged fan bases. And they proved it tonight. I was on their SB Nation site throughout, and currently they have like 1,200 comments on their game thread. I mean, they just go the entire time. So I picked out a few of my favorites. You know, it's hard because there's so much they talk about that you want to bring up and talk about because it really breaks down the Blazers. But I picked out some of the quotes that they had relative to the Suns. So the first one was "Feed the Nurk. Saric is barbecue chicken tonight."
It wasn't so, right?
No, it wasn't so. Didn't come to fruition. That was what the game plan was at the beginning. Nurkic ended with only 7 points. He had 8 boards, 3 for 7 shooting. And they were ripping Nurk the entire game. They were not a fan of him taking mid-range shots. Thought he should have been more aggressive inside. Why are they not going crazy? There's no Ayton in there. And he just didn't do anything that the Blazers fans wanted him to do.
Yeah, missing a lot of games this year too. I know his point total right now for the season is it's only barely over 11, but it's kind of like, those Ayton games where we get on him for not going against someone, he can take over. But I don't know, when Nurkic is back there shooting and he's taking the mid-range, he's probably looking down, looking at Sarge's butt. He's like, there's no way I'm tapping that tonight, dude. Or touching that.
He's like, I got to get out of that. I got to get out of the way of that thing, man.
I got to just shoot my shots, get around that thing.
They said Bridges is a nightmare for us on both ends. Obviously, he was having a fantastic, especially that first quarter. He had 10 points in the first quarter. He's D'ing up Dame Lillard and was being successful for stretches of the game. But again, there's Mikal Bridges just, playing the way that he can and reaching a level of his potential. Him in the playoffs is going to be so much fun and is exactly what this team's going to need if they want to be successful.
Yeah, he's ready for it, man. Definitely.
Devin Booker looks like he's about 19 years old, was one of the comments. Thoughts on that?
He does. And that's actually, Devin Booker's an inspiration to me. A lot of people say I might look like him. No, I'm just joking. I don't.
We do get that all the time.
We both have the red cheeks, and we can kind of grow the same beard. It's getting there close. So he does look young. People think I'm 19 sometimes. So I get that all the time, dude.
They said they are missing Ayton, but agreed they are going all out. Even missing Ayton, they are one of the best teams in the league.
Oh, fantastic. Stay weird, Portland. I love that one.
Stay weird, Portland. Booker/Lillard. I hate that the Suns have built around Booker faster than Lillard. So annoyed.
God. You think they have, though? I mean, we just got Chris Paul, but then you have Mikal Bridges and Ayton, too. I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. I guess you're right.
I mean, they got McCollum shortly after they got Lillard,
right,
and they've had a hard time really putting something that's matched what they needed there. They've tried a bunch of different things in Portland. They had a shot, and Zach Collins was on the sideline. He still looks like he's 12 from Gonzaga.
He looks like me, kind of.
Yeah, he looks more like you. Although Bailey Lyons says in the chat, I think I saw Matthew with Kendall. So if there's any rumors you want to dispel, now is the time. So,
nope. No way I can handle that.
This game has been awesome, win or lose. If the Blazers played with this kind of intensity all year, they'd be the number 1 seed.
God. You can say that about any team, right?
Yes, yeah. That was kind of where I was.
I like that one, though.
Thinking there. And then my favorite comment, and again, they had like 1,200 comments, so it was ridiculous. Thank goodness Cameron Payne is out. Booker's been off. So when they took Cam Payne out, they put Booker back in with about 6 minutes left in the game. The Blazers fans were happy. That fortifies exactly who and what Cameron Payne is about this year.
And Booker. How many times though do we say that in games where it's like, don't remember the time freaking Javon Carter had to tap him on the knee to go back in the game? Yeah, Devin Booker.
Yeah,
and it's just like, I don't know if I want him to come in either. It's just like sometimes he has those games where it's just like, I'd rather him not play the rest of the game. Sorry, Booker. It's just it happens.
It happens. I mean, he's a player in the NBA, and we can talk shit about him because that's what we do. Did Melo feel more mellow because he had his braids tonight? It just felt right, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess that's just
I don't like the braids. No, I just don't like. I never liked
classic Carmelo is the braids.
I know. I never liked
going
it.
back
to
Syracuse. Going back, I didn't say it was the best look, but seeing that tonight, I was like, "Hey, it's Melo. Melo's back." He used to rock that shit when he was in Denver for all those years. Yeah. And, he kind of gone away from it. But, yeah, this Boogie Trent says in the chat, he's like, Denver Melo. It's what it looked like tonight. But Carmelo, who's somebody who can be a thorn in our side, wasn't really an impact in this game, man. 1 for 7 from the field, 1 for 5 from deep, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 fouls, 5 points.
Yeah, he's like our Cameron Johnson in a way where it's like if he gets hot, he's hot. If not, then there's nothing else he can really do.
Yeah, and when he gets hot, he's insane. There's a difference between him and Cameron Johnson. I think that's for darn sure, man. All right. Okay.
I thought you were going to do a drop. I'm so nervous now with the drops, dude.
Yeah,
it's like
just keep talking.
Guess
what?
I'll just continue to cut you off. That's what I do. So we asked each other before this game on the last podcast who was going to win, the Suns or the Blazers. We both said Suns, and that means I'm 33-21, and Matthew, you are 34-20. And for any of the new Jamsters who are watching, and you go, well, hold on, there's 54 games there, and the Suns just completed their 70th game of the season. It's because we decided, like idiots, to start doing this, like X amount of games into the season. We're like, you know what, we should start to keep tabs on who we think is going to win, because it'd be kind of funny to see, and that's why. Okay, so next up we have nothing updated. So next up we have the Spurs on Saturday, Matthew, and that's actually going to be in San Antonio, and it's going to be an 11 a.m. game. They announced today the last two games of the seasons for the Suns are both going to be 11 a.m. starts in San Antonio. Tell me what you think about that.
I'm actually excited, but never mind, I'm not, because I have to work, I think, Saturday, so I might not even be able to watch the freaking game. So I like the early games, though. I actually do on the weekends, right? They're fun to watch during the day. I mean, you just get them out of the way, and if they win, the rest of your day is fantastic.
Well, I'm not going to be able to see the next game because I will be on the road to Laughlin. So I will probably catch the end of the game right when I arrive, and hopefully I'll have the ability to hop on and do the podcast with you. But I think if not, we'll have the Fanning the Flame guys on here. What's your matchup to watch in this game? Because the Spurs now are officially in the playoffs. So they don't have anything to play with. Sacramento's been eliminated. And
they're in the play-in, right?
They're in the play-in, but that's the playoffs technically. And it doesn't really matter going 9-10. I don't even know if they have the ability to jump that high.
I don't think they do. They're way behind.
Yeah, they're way behind. So they're currently, let's see here. They're currently 2 games ahead of the New Orleans Pelicans, who are out. So and they're 4 games behind the Memphis Grizzlies. So the Spurs are slotted in at that 10 seed going into the play-in game. Do they play players? Do they not play players? Are we scared if they don't play players? Because the last time we played them, they didn't play players and they whooped our ass.
Yeah, do they play the not players? Do they play their players that aren't even really players? Or did they not play the players that might be not players either? I don't know. I can't even look at their roster right now and tell you a good matchup. So
they just played on playa.
They play it on playa.
That's exactly
Let's
what
watch
I did.
Ayton. Yeah. Honestly, I hope it's a rest game for both teams. I hope they just rest. I don't even care, honestly, the last 2 games. I think we got the 2 seed locked up, right? Unless the Jazz lose tomorrow night.
Unless the Jazz lose tomorrow night. Now, granted, they're playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, if I remember correctly. And if they lose that game, the Suns have a chance to catch them.
Then they have a chance, yeah.
And you look at who the Utah Jazz have. They have the Oklahoma City Thunder and then the Sacramento Kings, who were eliminated from playoff contention for the 15th consecutive season, tying an NBA record for the longest playoff drought. So it'll be interesting if OKC, if your boy Poku can come through, man, if he's even healthy. I don't even know anymore. But if he can come through, man, and we could get that number 1 seed, that would be just an amazing turn of events for the Suns.
It would be crazy. We'll still play the Lakers somehow, first round.
Yeah, I know. Somehow, some way, it's going to work out that way. I know, right? Then they go through the play-in and they lose to the Warriors.
Yeah.
And then they, well, and let's bring up real quick the playoff kind of where we stand currently. As you can see, the Utah Jazz are 50-20. The Suns that's actually 49-21. It's not updated, but they are now officially 1 game, or they're 1.5 games behind. They're 1 game behind the Jazz with 2 to play. If we can tie the Jazz, if they drop 1 more game and we win our last 2, we tie them, we take the number 1 seed. We play the 8 seed, and it just kind of goes like that. Currently, the Portland Trailblazers, why it's so important for them to win tonight is they are tied with Dallas for the 9 seed. If Dallas can win, and Portland's last game is against the Denver Nuggets. I believe they have one last. Let me update this real quick. I think with their loss, they're actually below Denver, and I have the wrong graphic up, which is just typical. Welcome to the Suns Jam Session podcast. Anything
right
goes.
Now, Dallas plays Denver right now, 5-4. And Portland 6-3.
Dallas plays Denver. Yes, 6-3 is Clippers and Trailblazers. They're 9.5. So the Lakers could still potentially catch the Blazers, but if they tie, the Portland Trailblazers have the tiebreaker, so that doesn't matter. So it'll be interesting. These last 2 games are going to be really, really fun to watch. I don't know what matchup to watch in San Antonio because I honestly don't know what's going to happen in that game. But Matthew, you got to pick a winner. who's going to win? The Suns, the Spurs? Who wins?
All right. So I think the Suns are going to win the first one, and then we're going to lose the second one. So Suns win.
Okay, I'm going to go Spurs are going to win the first one. Suns are going to lose. Or I'm going to do the opposite
Well, do you
of
want
whatever
to tie?
you said. No, I'm going
What
for
if
the
we
dub.
tie?
I'm going for the
What are
dub.
Okay, but
I'm
we
going
might
for the
end up
dub.
tying.
No, we
All
can't
right.
tie because I'm picking opposite for you for the last two games. There's no
Yeah.
way we tie.
Okay.
Is there? No, there's
You're
no way
right.
we tie.
You're right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you're saying, so I say Spurs win next game, and then the Suns
Yeah.
win the final game. You're saying the exact opposite. Fantastic. That, again, I'll put the record up there one last time. So if that's the case, I could win. If that's not the case, then I could lose. Whatever. That's just how it goes.
Just whatever.
That's just whatever, man. That's
how much
it-
we cared about this whole season.
Yeah, we have nothing bet on the line. Now granted, it's Jen Sam says in the chat, Voida got to make a gamble here. Yeah, I'm going to Laughlin for the next few days, man. I am going to be gambling. I'm going to enjoy it. I've been watching YouTube videos on how to play craps. I'm so prepared to gamble that I'm going to lose so much money.
You are.
I'm
The more
bringing like
prepared
50
you are,
bucks.
the more you're gonna lose.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's how it is. It's like it's normally you just going like, oh yeah, let me just put 10 down on red. Oh, hey, I won. I just doubled my money. So it's just like it's just the way it goes, man. It's just the way it goes.
Don't spend my college fund.
No, I'm gonna double your college fund. How about them
thank you.
apples? How about them apples? Anything else you want to touch on before we get out of here today, Matthew?
You know what? No, not really. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm like, I should think of something for the end. But tonight, just a great win, dude. What else you got?
I agree with you there. I think that a shocking win, a win I didn't expect because I felt like the Suns they got outplayed in the fourth quarter. Dame Lillard outplayed him in the fourth quarter. Devin Booker got the call. Devin Booker put the Portland Trailblazers in a situation to where it came down to a call, and he hit those two clutch free throws, 118 to 117. A win is a win. You'll take that. 49-21 on the season for the Phoenix Suns with 2 games left to play before the playoffs. I think we can all just, agree that we are excited for playoff basketball. It's going to be absolutely fun. Again, if you live in the greater Phoenix area, come join us for the first game of the playoffs. Once they release what that schedule looks like, we will be at the Chupacabra Tap Room in Mesa. We'll be with the Suns solar panel guys. We'll be doing a live post-game podcast right here on the Suns Jam Session podcast
stickers,
as well.
right?
I got stickers coming. I got stuff to give to some of the
stickers?
Jamsters. Yeah, who doesn't like stickers, man? So
Get
I got
some
some giveaways to give to the Jamsters. It's just gonna be really fun to feel social and to be around fellow Suns fans and talk about everything that we've seen. If you're a hot chick, come meet Matthew. He's single and ready to mingle. So hit him up, man. Hit him up.
A lot of pressure on me. We can have our own bachelor.
Yes, you can start handing out stickers instead of roses. You hand out stickers.
Every game, give away a sticker to the one that steals my heart.
That'd be fantastic. So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining the Suns Jam Session podcast. He's Matthew. I'm John. You can follow the show at Suns Jam on Instagram, Twitter, and the Phoenix Fans app. You can follow me at Darth Voida on all the same channels. You can follow Matthew
at Matthew Lissy.
Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on the Bright Side of the Sun podcast network. That's not only where you get the Suns Jam Session podcast, but you also get Fanning the Flames. The guys who joined us earlier, SoSaysJ, DervishOfWhirl, that's where they put out their podcasts as well. If you're watching along live on the YouTube channel, please subscribe. Please hit that thumbs up button, and you can join our elite Jamster crew simply by pressing that join button or following the link in the description. We'll be live, 1 in the afternoon, I guess, after the next game. We'll see how it goes. I'll try it out. I'll try to get there. But, until then, Jamsters, it was a hell of a win. It's been a hell of a year. And read my piece. It comes out on Bright Side of the Sun tomorrow morning. I actually really like what I wrote. It's actually a really nice, I finished it. I'm like, I feel like Kevin O'Connor. Like I reached out to the creator of the site. And I was like, hey, man, how long you been? I asked him all these questions. He's like, no one's ever asked me this. So I got some information from him. The guy lives in Athens, Greece. So it was really kind of, it was
What
fun.
are you talking about? What happened? You asked what?
The guy, the Hoops Stats website.
Oh, yeah.
I contacted the creator just to get his background story and why he made the site and kind of what inspired him and where's he from.
That
and
is
stuff.
very
so,
cool.
Yeah, like I said, I felt like KOC at the end of it. I'm like, this is actually some journalistic journal.
Some journalist. Yeah, if it's the right guy. I'm just joking. It's just some random guy.
He's like, oh yeah, sure. It's like no one's ever asked me this. Oh, dude, real quick before we get out of here.
Jam star of the game.
Can we both agree it was Campaign?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Campaign, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night.
Everyone go home, love your family.
All right, we got a situation.
I'm the sweetest bitch you'll ever meet.